Hey guys! Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with the first few weeks and months with my newborn baby. So basically the fourth trimester, which indeed is a fourth trimester in my case. From the beginning I had decided to breastfeed him, so from the moment he was born I was breastfeeding him. When I got home I found it more and in the hospital I found it more comfortable to breastfeed him lying on my side due to the pain that I had from down below. So we both lied on our sides and I breastfed him like that, but he was really I don't know if all babies are like that. He was a really needy baby. He was latched on constantly. It used to take me about an hour and a half at times to get him to sleep. I mean, I was breastfeeding 9 hours a day and night. So each time I tried to pull away from him and unlatch to roll over or to get on with my day, he'd wake up, so we'd have to do it all over again. So it might have taken me even an hour again to get him back to sleep. So I didn't want to risk that. So I was really careful about what how I did everything. When I finally did get him to sleep, I'd put him in his bassinet so I could go and take a shower or have a pee and or sleep even, which was unlikely. The moment I started relaxing and start to fall asleep, he'd usually wake up, so I was screwed. So I generally held him a lot, and I still do, and we're very attached. After a while I saw that waiting for him to fall asleep and to make sure if I can pick him up and put him in his bassinet wasn't really working for us. I mean, I knew which times he had fallen asleep heavily enough where I could do it, so every chance I could I would do that just so I can get a small break. But we ended up co-sleeping for most of the time, which was really hard because every time I tried to move away, either he'd wake up or he'd slowly creep up on me. I don't know how he did that in his sleep and just stick to my back. But I'm a really light sleeper anyways, and then I barely slept at all, so there was no fear of me rolling over and squishing him. So I mean, I laugh about it now, but it was really frustrating and exhausting then. I remember going into the shower just to take a break, and the moment I put the water on and started relaxing, he'd start crying and then I'd start crying. I mean, he was born in May. I remember spending half of my summer crying in the shower because I was just so exhausted. I couldn't take it anymore. I mean, the first few weeks, it was still painful. I was in pain down below. I couldn't sit upright. I mean, I did everything. I even went out. I went shopping. I did a bunch of things. I drove. But still, I mean, the pain was there. And breastfeeding was very painful in the beginning, even though it went really smoothly from the beginning. He latched on. Everything went fine. My milk came. There was plenty of it there, everywhere. And but still it was painful. The first few seconds of him latching on, I just couldn't even breathe. It was so painful, and I have quite a high tolerance for pain. I mean, I didn't even know I was going into labor. If my doctor hadn't have told me, I wouldn't have known. So which is, I'm really glad about that. So this whole time I barely slept. I was breastfeeding 9 hours a day, so my baby was literally sucking the energy out of me. I barely had time to eat. I barely had time to sleep. And I know how they say that, sleep when the baby sleeps, but you can't always sleep on command, and you do really need a little bit of time to yourself. And the moment I did relax, or the moment I decided I'd do something for myself, or the moment I'd sit down and eat. I mean, come on, what do they have? he'd start crying straight away. I don't understand how he did that. It's like he knew when I was about to sit down and eat or sit and relax or fall asleep, he'd have like, I don't know, he's got a radar for that. He'd wake up every single time. And you know how frustrating it is when you're so tired? I mean, it's the one pleasure you have, just to sit down and eat or take a shower. I mean, what else do you have with a newborn baby? That's the only pleasure you really have, and he wouldn't even allow me to do that. So that lasted for a while. I mean, I think my 4th trimester went on for a 5th one too. So for the first 6 months, that's how it was. I couldn't spend any time apart because he was breastfeeding on demand. He was napping, I think 3 times a day, and then again he breastfed, I don't know, about 4 or 5 times at night on a good night. And I just couldn't be away from him, because by breastfeeding on his side and falling asleep breastfeeding, he'd only learned, and still at almost 20 months, only can fall asleep by breastfeeding. Yes, I still breastfeed, but thank God, only during naps and nighttime, and we've really like cut down. So it's 1 nap during the day and a couple of feedings at night, which I'm okay with, but I can't wait to get on with that. I'm done. But anyways, I'm not gonna pressure him into stopping now, so I'm just gonna wait for it to pass. So yeah, this went on for the first few months. It was really hard on me, and every time I thought we were getting on to, you know, maybe he would sleep a bit better, not be so how do you say, not needy, but he was quite demanding, let's say. So on the days that he wasn't that demanding and he got a better night's sleep, it was like seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. I was so happy, and I thought, okay, finally, this is it. And it only lasted a couple of days, and then it went downhill again, and that would really get me down. So all my hopes were just like flushed down the toilet. So that kept on going on, so that really messed with me. And but there were also the really good times. I mean, come on, the first smiles, giggles, I mean, anything new, which was every week he had something new for us. It was really nice to see. I was really loving having him close to me. I was doing it the way I always wanted to do it. It was just that it was so exhausting at the same time. And the first few weeks, it was literally, he'd wake up, start crying, I'd change his diaper, I'd feed him, and then he'd sleep, and then he'd wake up, start. It's like in the beginning he had no peaceful awake time. He wouldn't just be awake and like, you know, be nice and cute like a baby should be. He was quite whiny, so I didn't know if that was, you know, I am a first time mom, so I didn't know if that's normal. I couldn't understand what I was doing wrong. I felt pressured, I felt guilty. I didn't know what was going on, what the right thing was, what if I was doing something wrong. So I had that whole burden on me, and my husband too, and thank God he was really helpful. I mean, at night he'd hear the baby crying, he'd wake up, he'd change him and bring the baby to me ready to just breastfeed and get back to sleep. So he was really active in everything. I have to say that I'm really happy that he helped, and he still helps a lot. He's a very active father, which is great. But still, it was really hard. And even though there are, I mean, so many great things happen in that period of time due to postpartum depression, most of it is kind of tainted for me, because I was focusing more on the negative than on the positive, and I didn't know that I had it in the beginning. So when I finally understood that, okay, there's something wrong with me, not with the situation or with the baby, that's when I started recognizing it, is when I started doing things actively to get out of it. Anyways, but I will be discussing this more in my next video. So basically the 4th trimester really is a 4th trimester, and the baby's attached, they go through growth spurts, they get more needy. I mean, you can see, well, actually you can't. Looking back on photos, I can see how quickly he changed. Okay, when you have him right there with you 24/7, you can't see the changes straight away, but oh my god, they grow so fast. So really you should, and it's something you should really focus on. Just don't focus on the housework. Don't let people tell you what a dump you live in, like I had people telling me. Don't let other people bring you down. Have someone cook you something. Have a friend over and like tell them to cook you something or make you a cup of tea, and just be useful, and leave the house alone. Let it look like a dump. So what? I mean, this is a time in your life you're never going to get back again. So just don't listen to anything negative out there, and just focus on your baby and your new little family. That's all I have to say. I mean, that's the most important thing. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. In my next one I'll be talking about my postpartum depression and my experience with it, how I finally realized that I had it, and how I got out of it, and how it affected me and my little family, and everything about it. So yeah. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. I've linked my blog, my social media, and my contact information below. And yeah, please comment if you liked the video. I mean, if you have anything to say about it, I'd really like to get to know you guys. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.